and had told them that they all needed to go down and shouted expletives at them. So our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their...
Organized like ICE agents? What's up, guys? It's Jack White back here again for US Daily, and we've got a bit of an update for you. Chicago is currently on edge as the Department of Homeland Security responds after violence has erupted at the latest ICE protest. So let's have a look what Fox News has to say about this.
Anti-ICE protesters bringing violence to America's streets, but Democrats are refusing to help. Yeah, and we're talking...
See, straight away, the language being used by the reporters here, bringing violence to the streets. Anti-ICE protesters bringing violence to the streets. What is the number one thing that these people, these ICE people are doing? They're bringing violence to the people. So in response to that, the protesters are bringing violence to the streets. Either way, there's going to be violence, okay? The reason why the protesters are there are because of those ICE agents in the first place.
About the chaos that has broken out in Portland, Oregon, and in Chicago. The split screen you see here, the absolute violent assaults and riots happening as the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, saying, I want to be clear, there is no need for military troops on the ground in the state of Illinois. Go out.
There's no need for ICE agents either.
To Portland, Oregon, this same exact thing you're seeing there, the same violence in the streets, more than 100 days of violent assaults on the ICE facility in Portland as the...
Are you guys noticing a trend here? Every time ICE agents are on the ground anywhere, violence erupts. Before the ICE agents were around, people were living pretty harmoniously. Yes, there were problems, but you can be guaranteed if you put ICE agents anywhere, there are going to be violent things happening.
The Attorney General there in Portland says that Portland is not the president's war-torn fantasy. Our city is not ravaged, and there's no rebellion. Joining us now, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Madam Secretary, we just showed our viewers exactly the reality of what's playing out, and then the rhetoric of the Democratic leaders, and it seems to tell two different stories.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes, I've encouraged the governor of Oregon and of Illinois, and that Attorney General should go down and spend some time with our ICE officers and with our Border Patrol.
But why? Why should they go down and spend time with the ICE officers? You want them to go down and spend time with the people who are causing the problems?
Officers and encounter the protesters that they do, because these individuals are shouting hateful things at them, threatening their families.
Oh my goodness. The individuals are shouting hateful things at the ICE agents who are trying to deport their family members? How dare they?
Putting their hands on them and...
Putting their hands on them? I've never seen an ICE agent put their hands on anybody.
Acts of violence are occurring on a regular basis. So they're just sitting far away in safe facilities, some of them with protective detail, which is a very different situation than trying to clean up the...
So they're needing to spend taxpayer money on protective detail for ICE agents. Wow. I just don't know what we could do about that. You could probably just get rid of them, right?
The streets and help protect the families and the victims of these criminals that have been roaming for far too long.
So during the break...
So these people are now criminals. Okay.
You told us that there are actually some individual agents who have been identified and have bounties placed on their heads. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we had a really strange incident yesterday where we had a caravan of 10 different vehicles that were following our Border Patrol agents and officers that were out there on the streets of Chicago. And they had followed them and gotten them cornered, pinned them down. And then our agents, when getting out of their cars, they tried to run them over and had semi-automatic handguns on them to where our agents had to protect themselves, and shots were fired, and an individual ended up in the hospital that was attacking these officers. Very dangerous situation. And then in that situation as well, this individual had threatened them previously.
Attacking people who are attacking you. Throughout history, if you go back, I mean, you back a dog into a corner of a laneway, what's it going to do? It's going to try to escape. I mean, how's it going to do that? With every means possible. All right. If you pin somebody with their back against the wall, they will do whatever they can to get away. And this is what's happening. You've got ICE agents going into areas, and they're giving people no choice. They're putting them into situations where they're backed into a corner, and when it feels like life or death, and it feels like that you're going to lose your family, people are doing some crazy things to get out of those situations. And I feel like it's a manufactured fear. So what's the answer? I mean, definitely what do they say is doing the same thing and expecting a different result is a sign of madness. So obviously something different needs to happen here.
And had told them that they all needed to go down and shouted expletives at them. So our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their
organized like ICE agents?
Team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented. So
I'm not one to say that, this is not happening, but where's the proof of this? How do you guys know this? And why aren't we showing proof of this in the news rather than just saying there's bounties on people's heads, there's messages going out on networks? Can we not see screenshots? Can we not see proof? Or because without that, these are just words.
We've put protective detail around those individuals, changed some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it.
Well, I mean, of course, I don't agree with that.
And Secretary, I want to stay on the bounties. Who is issuing the bounties? I know that you guys are looking into groups like Antifa. Is it linked to that, or who is issuing these bounties? What do we know right now?
Well, I'm going to be careful what I say because we have investigations going on and these threats are out there. So I'm not going to give you specific officers, although they have been targeted towards specific officers and released their
answer the question. Who's behind it?
Their phone numbers or released their pictures. But it is gangs. It is cartels.
It's gangs. Very vague. Well done. Spoken like a true politician.
Cartel members. And known terrorist organizations, so foreign terrorist organizations as deemed by the president, but also ones that we have known.
Foreign terrorist organizations as deemed by the president. He deems a lot of things.
For many, many years. And they are making sure that they know which officers are out there and being extremely effective, and they want to take them down because they want to try to stop the operations that are going that are keeping them from making money off their criminal networks.
Do you have any evidence that those same cartels are actually helping fund some of the protests themselves in terms of turning people out?
Well, we've been spending a lot of time working as a whole of government approach. And so I talked to Scott Bessent about this last night, and he's really helping us dig into the funding of these operations, where they're getting their money. When you're down there with these protesters and you're
maybe they bought Trump coin. Oh, wait, that crashed.
You're looking at them and interacting with them. I was in Chicago just 2 days ago watching these protesters and our officers engage with them. All the protesters are wearing the same gas masks. They're carrying the same kind of signs. Many of them were
like a uniform. Interesting.
Printed with the same font. They look like they came from the same company. To be that organized and have the same equipment to push back on law and order, you know that somebody is funding them and organizing them and that they're being paid. What would all these individuals...
You know what? When somebody gets angry enough, they don't need to take action on things just because they're getting paid. And that's what protesting is. People taking the time out of their lives to fight against something that they don't believe in or that they believe strongly against.
Be doing, and how are they affording their groceries, their rent, their homes when they're down on the street protesting at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning and spending all day there just screaming horrible things at law enforcement, putting their hands on them and violating our laws.
Well, and what's For the life of me, I can't understand, Madam Secretary. And it was just weeks ago here on this couch, I asked you how concerned you were that one of your agents could be killed. In that time, since I asked you that, we have had bullets fired into the Dallas facility there, claiming the lives of 2 illegal aliens that were in custody, with your agents running into the fire to try and protect those detainees. And
wait, did he just try and make a point that 2 civilians were killed and that he thinks it's bad that the ICE agents had to run in there and there was fire happening? Like there was a literal firefight happening? Did he try and make it sound like that was bad for the poor people who had to be anywhere near that, where 2 people got killed who were civilians? Did he try and spin that? I think he did.
Just 2 days after that incident on the streets of Chicago, there in Broadview, where all of this is happening, you have people chanting, "Shoot ICE, kill ICE." But for the life of me, I cannot understand why Democrat politicians and local leaders like Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson is literally calling you essentially a liar when you make the case that your ICE agents are being attacked. Here's a little bit of what he had to say. I want to get your response.
She has no idea what she's talking about. The Trump administration, they are completely delusional right now. And what they are promulgating in this particular moment are not just unconstitutional measures, but they're dangerous and reckless, and it's anti.
See, like, it's very easy to see footage where civilians are being manhandled by these agents.
Antithetical to who we are.
Does it look like that guy is in any danger right now?
As a nation.
Madam Secretary, your reaction.
Well, let's remember that mayor has a less than 6% approval rating.
Is that the best footage they could find of an ICE agent in danger? Because that did not look like that to me.
In Chicago. So the people who live there, less than 6%, think he might be doing somewhat of a good job. Overwhelmingly, that man
96% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Is a failure.
Wait, 96.75.
He's a failure for his people and hasn't stood up for the victims of the crimes that have happened in his city. So we're going to keep doing our work. Every day when we're there doing our operations, when I'm there with them, people on the streets are clapping as we do our work. They're clapping as these officers are arresting these bad criminals. And out of the 12 that we arrested during the short period of time I was there, 6 of them had criminal records in their backgrounds that the state had arrested them and just turned them loose on the street again for assault, for weapons possession, for robbery.
Yeah, well, that's very different. When you're arresting criminals, actual criminals, is different than when you're tearing people out of their home for being illegal aliens who have lived in the country for God knows how many years.
Individuals now are off the streets thanks to President Trump, not thanks to that mayor who's delusional at best.
So do you tie a direct line between the rhetoric from people like Mayor Johnson and other Democrats to the actual increase in assaults and the threat of violence?
Oh, absolutely. He's giving them air cover. He's giving them air cover so they can go out and keep committing crime.
Wow. Similar to when somebody said something that forced a whole bunch of people to storm a Capitol building. Just throwing that out there.
It's wrong. There should be consequences for that and for leaders that stand up and knowingly lie about the situation on the ground. This is a war zone. His city is a war zone, and he's lying so that criminals can go in there and destroy people's lives.
Was it a war zone before this initiative was put into place? That's what you need to ask yourself.
Those individuals that live there are waking up to it. They understand that where we have gone, we've made it much more free. People are much safer. We've got 1,000 criminals that are off the streets of Chicago just because we've been there, not because of his help. And in fact, they don't even let our ICE officers and our Border Patrol officers use restrooms in facilities.
Wait, they can't go number 1 or number 2? Oh, well, we have to do something about that.
Those men and women were telling us that they have to figure out even where they can go sit down for 5 minutes to have lunch or to use a restroom throughout.
Oh my goodness, there's no lunch breaks, there's nowhere to use a restroom when you're trying to tear people apart and tear them out of their homes, and it's terrible. I mean, there's your news headline right there. ICE agents can't go pee-pee.
Out their shift and their break. So they've made it a very difficult situation. But what I was so encouraged by was these officers love their jobs. They love their jobs. They're so excited that they get to go out there and serve our country. And they see normal, everyday people going to work who thank them. And I don't know if you saw
people who love this kind of work, it definitely does raise a big question mark and a little bit of a red flag, yeah. I know some people have to do these jobs, but like if you're enjoying this a little too much, then that raises big questions.
All those videos of those folks down there chanting USA
Indeed.
and holding signs encouraging ICE. If more Americans would do that, if you would
How are
go
they
down
holding
there
up?
and show them when you have some spare time, it really is encouraging to our officers.
How are they holding up, Secretary?
How are they holding up, these poor people who are attacking innocent civilians? How are they okay? Do they need a hug?
I mean, it's got to be hard to be called
they're doing
these names.
good.
Yeah.
I asked them that too, because that's what I worry about. You get people yelling and screaming stuff in your face all day long. You know, you kind of lose perspective on where you are or what you're doing, but they're so encouraged. Many of these individuals that are on these swift response teams, they left home before we started.
You know what? Let's spend some more taxpayer money on counseling for ICE agents who have had angry cuss words shouted at them during their daily activities. That should work. Let's get the country into more debt.
The LA operation. They got called up to go to LA just 24 hours before they had to pack and get there to help bring some law and order to Los Angeles. So they went from LA then to Chicago. So they've been gone for months, living in different hotels or situations there to bring safety and security. And they don't know necessarily when they'll go home to their families. But they said, we are all in for this because we know our families don't have a chance unless President Trump cleans up our streets and cleans up, the
I haven't seen President Trump out there with a broom and a shovel.
safety and the security of our schools and our communities. So they understand and they're true believers in this country and what it can be. And they don't want to see it get as dangerous in so many cities like it did in 2020 across the country when it was out of control. And we had the kind of violence that came from some of these same organizations.
Well, Secretary Noem, thank you
Some of the organizations that she can't name. Okay.
so much for joining us this morning and breaking all that down and
Breaking all that down. All what down? I am none the wiser, and I'm sure you aren't either.
you and your agents are in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That means the world. Thank you very much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Well, there you go. That was rather interesting. I sure enjoyed it. Very insightful. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be pushing more content out like this daily. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.